afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero of Sack Defender over the Fatherland, off here to 1 vs 1 on Langraskaya. In the north, it's VonClausewitz fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Rolling out here with the 2nd Panzer Division versus south, we got VonAsten fighting for America, freedom, democracy, liberty. Taking on the role here of the 6th Armored Division, we got here German infantry, Ostrom, and assault support here for VonClausewitz, the Triple Infantry versus VonAsten's armor, airborne. And we got straight to airborne here for VonAsten, double rifleman, MG42 is going to do this there for VonClausewitz as he swiftly moves out secure territory for the German army, which is to launch its counteroffensive to smash the Yankees in the jaw. VonAsten moving westwards the reactions, rifle moving up towards the center of receiving any early pathfinders up here. Some players like to go for a fat chunk of pathfinders and basically blow them up and then proceed to try and roll over the Germans. Others tend to go for a slightly more varied spread of units and abilities from the doctrine. But so far VonClausewitz moving down the west and east here. So far not a heavy focus on the fuel, more trying to control the main center here, which of course we can control, can give him some freedom and movement overall. But if he falls behind on the fuel versus VonAsten, things could get a bit uncomfortable there for VonClausewitz and the 2nd Panzer Division, which was known as the Vienna Division because the recruits were drawn from Vienna, the capital of Austria. As they called it, Ostmark, I believe. Since, once it got annexed, they couldn't just call Austria. So I think they called it Ostmark or something else. Anyways, I think there was another name for it. My mind is slightly fuzzy on that one at the moment. But otherwise, sort of highlights how the Germans, at least sort of early to mid stage of the war, would generally sort of recruit for divisions from a specific part of Germany. It's a little fun fact there. Grenadiers moving up here, rifle moving up westwards, got a big push there for VonAsten there. There's no sign there of any doctrine from VonClausewitz. Double pioneers while here for VonClausewitz. Very interesting opening here. Particularly versus the Americans, you usually do not see like one grenadier, one infantry, and then another pioneer squad. Curious as to what VonClausewitz is planning with that. Also worth noting, he is yet to grab the fuel points, so VonAsten here can get ahead of VonClausewitz in the fuel race. So it's certainly a bit curious as to what he's doing, except seemingly planning up defences. But right now his left flank is deeply exposed, his calf point is very vulnerable, alongside the victory point. So while he's preparing for here, the assault is likely going to hit up here instead. More grenadiers are running for VonClausewitz. He does seem to realise he might have left himself a bit exposed, but definitely a peculiar opening there from VonClausewitz. VonAsten meanwhile is flooding resources, got a fast lieutenant on the way there. Light is going to lead into a 50 caliber, very light in fact here. No pathfinders of yet, so the question is, why did VonAsten go for very early airborne? Except of course he clearly got some way with it, but
we have a lieutenant reporting in for duty.
It's just most players will at least go for one pathfinder squad here. But there you go, 50 caliber machine gun on the way here for VonAsten. Well, obviously we expect double pioneers from VonClausewitz, and what's this going to lead to? Will it be a tier 2 now here from VonClausewitz? Maybe some light vehicles that fast, more grenadiers, more MG42s. What is VonClausewitz strategy with this? Still, grenadiers remaining on watch in the centre here. Machine guns using territory somewhere. Yeah, it's in the west, but the grenadiers there. But there you go. VonAsten here, having decided he's had enough here, is actively instructed forces eastwards to try and catch his opponent off guard. Nice move. And we got an M20 out here for VonAsten. For America, freedom, democracy. Rifle standing about here. On watch here. He knows the rifle up there, so he's trying to keep watching it. But again, this is likely part of VonAsten's plan. It is bait. It is a distraction to keep VonClausewitz's eyes and machine gun centered elsewhere, and then makes the push elsewhere. Nice play there though by VonAsten then. M20 halfway down, rifle now routed. Still again, the assault continues, in this case halted bit here by the barbed wire and the grenadiers, since that way VonAsten can't really gain any sort of good footing versus VonClausewitz, allowing them to do damage without taking too much. Hence one reason why barbed wire can be really good. Sandbag, flamethrowers up there, blah. Tech up down there, they'll probably like to make a nice company up there, so that was planning. MG moving up westwards there. Confident, aggressive uses of the machine gun there, very nice. Bit risky, but again, he's got a sort of reasonable idea where most of VonAsten's forces are anyway, so he knows he can sort of play it a bit more aggressively. But of course, he has to be mindful against flanks there from VonAsten. Fuel point there cut off though by VonAsten. Nice aggressive harassment in there, again forcing VonClausewitz to draw attention towards there. Like to make a nice company more or less done here in a few seconds. And due to the fuel delay, he can't actually get out and then 2-2 fast enough to really sort of stop the M20. So VonAsten's going to have a nice lead here with his light utility car. versus VonClausewitz and the 2nd Panzer Division. Riflemen routed here in the east. Calf Point there being hit by reactions, backed up by the M20. VonClausewitz opening here is looking a bit rocky at the moment. As VonAsten strikes, floating quite a bit of manpower. I'm guessing he wants to call in paratroopers. Oh, there he goes, calling in a 50 caliber, which is actually now a bit cheaper here due to how they changed it up, so it's more payoff to call it in. Of course, this funny then went for the lieutenant when he probably could have gotten captured again than the M20. So it's very interesting to see how VonAsten is now using the doctrine to supplement his forces and his strategy. Bunker up there for VonClausewitz. 2-2 you can soon go for, and he's going to need it 100% here versus VonAsten. Of course, the problem is VonAsten might try and lay down mines, meaning he could send in the 2-2 after VonAsten's utility car and lose it to a mine. Ambulance almost down there for VonAsten and the 6th Armored Division. Bunker up, 2-2 on the way there, like to Panzer Speerwagen for the 2nd Panzer Division.
Ambulance taking the field.
Pioneers against the Riflemen. We're all moving up to bag up the 1st Pioneer Squad, 2-2 halfway down. M20 moving about here, trying to stay closer to maybe avoid a pack foot, at least make it harder for it to get hit, and more importantly, easier for the M20 to escape. Still aggressive pushes and harassment here. Fuel reconnected. And then we got the 2-2 out here for VonClausewitz. Still no sign of doctrine from him. And, well, besides the 50 caliber, not much sign of VonAsten's Airborne. 2-2 going straight and aggressively for the Riflemen, engaging them up close and ugly. Riflemen up there with an anti-tank rifle grenade. Back here. Medic bunker finally being upgraded there for VonClausewitz. Panzer Grenadiers could be a good idea, and we got a mines he's expecting, and we got a suit for next up here for VonAsten. Pushing on the light vehicle, but he is going to pressure VonClausewitz in early game further. Not a bad idea at all, and certainly going to force a Pack 40 out. If he wasn't already going to go for one, he's definitely going to have to go for it now. I mean, it's either that he could try Panzerschrecks on Panzer Grenadiers, cutting out the wire so VonAsten can actually use the cover here. Very nice work, moving for the centre, 2-2 moving westwards. Mines was on the way there for VonClausewitz, likely anticipating exactly this. Good veteran response. Most players tend not to expect your opponent using the M20 is actually going to lay down mines, but VonAsten is obviously a player of that caliber, and VonClausewitz respects that. Nope, now VonAsten's cleared out the barbed wire. He is laying down his own to that way, denied the cover to VonClausewitz. Mortar following up there. Clearly not anticipating the Stuart, and he could regret going for that mortar there, since 1-2-2 versus Stuart is not quite going to cut it, and VonClausewitz is not able to lay down any teller mines. His ability to actually stop this is going to be somewhere in the realm of the very optimistic. They can't have a small chance of taking out the 5th caliber. Close, but no, the 5th caliber crew makes it out. The Stuart arriving here, 2-2, or M20 right here, but the 2-2, they need to fall back soon as well. Mortar has arrived here for VonClausewitz in the 2nd Panzer Division, and we got paratroopers in here for VonAsten. 82nd Airborne dropping in. It's boys. Question, of course, is where's he dropping them? Rather close here, in fact, to the action. VonAsten shows no fear in the face of the Nazis. He needs, though, here, even as he's counterattacking the west, he is making a push here, backed up by a lot of infantry, and, of course, most importantly, the Stuart light tank forming a nucleus, which VonClausewitz is going to have to struggle with here, meaning the East is going to be in a very precarious situation. VonClausewitz remains without doctrine versus VonAsten. He remains hesitant, but there you go. We got the Pack 40 at least there, the Panzerabwehrkanone 40. Grenadiers standing about here. No upgrades yet for VonClausewitz. Grenadiers, a few light machines could do good. He's also short in infantry. 2 Grenadiers, I would say, is rather cutting it short. Him to as an opponent with lots of infantry, including elite infantry like the paratroopers. VonClausewitz really is going to need either Panzer Grenadiers or Stormtroopers. He could get away, I think, with the Assault Support's artillery field officer, but he needs more than just 2 Grenadiers. I mean, he could also just go for more Grenadiers, but I feel like some Panzer Grenadiers Stormtroopers would do VonClausewitz a lot of good here as all these riflemen. VonAsten responding with his own mortar to the arrival of the German artillery. Paratroopers needing westwards here with their Thompsons ready to mow down any crowds that look remotely suspiciously at them. Riflemen routed here. Mortar almost done for VonAsten. Got that Pack 40 ready there for VonClausewitz. very heavy anti-tank. I mean, most anti-tank guns at that caliber were pretty damn heavy. The Pack 40 was essentially one of the lighter ones due to some trick there to make the gun shield overall lighter, but still it was pretty damn heavy. And while he could be turned around with infantry, unlike most other anti-tank guns of that size, it was still preferable to use, you know, tractor or anything like that for any sort of long-term hauling. Trying to bring in, they got the paratroopers and sending the cuff on there from Clausewitz. Was not expecting that one. Two folks on the right flank now. VonAsten takes advantage of this momentary distraction to launch an assault, cutting off VonClausewitz's primary resource line. Excellent play there by VonAsten. Return moving up here. Side of the machine gun probably should have been closer to the west. 50 copper covering up here, making it harder for VonClausewitz to reinforce here by cutting off the direct path. Very nice play there as well by VonAsten. Really strong play there. Very good push. Finally, we got more infantry from Clausewitz. It's going to be more grenadiers. Again, personally, would have preferred more panzer grenadiers, but grenadiers can work, though he really should be upgrading some of them with light machine guns to increase his chance of actually murdering some of VonAsten's infantry. Machine gun finding his own here. Insane the armor piercing rounds could be added. Need to get the Pack 40 up there before the steward knocks that one out. There you go, just crashing straight into the house. More firing down as well here. Machine gun will have to pull back soon. And there you go, Pack 40 setting up. Panzerfaust off. And no, it missed. Machine gun needs to get away. They're fighting for the cuff point. We got the rear we got the machine gun and lieutenant here, making hard here for Clausewitz to reclaim what is Germany's. Machine gun there, finally getting out of the house before it gets utterly annihilated. And there you go, the house collapses right in the nick of time. A dramatic exit for VonClausewitz's lone machine gunner. Pack 40 being hauled up there, 2-2 pursuing. Trying hanging back here. We get any further mines from VonAsten? The answer would seem to be a no. Mortar engagement going to DC in the east. Still no sign of any upgrades there for VonClausewitz. He has gone for assault support though. That could prove to be helpful. A few artillery field officer units could actually put some pressure on the opponent, lay down smoke screens and other fun things. Could also indicate that VonClausewitz might feel himself backed into a corner and try and stall for the Tiger tank. We'll have to see how that's going to work out, but it's not necessarily what I recommend. And meanwhile, I believe VonAsten is taking out for armour. Going to take the advantage he's already got, and he's just going to roll it. He's going to try and turn into a big fat snowball and roll it all over VonClausewitz and the German army. Paratroop launching a spirit assault on the right flank, trying to the two beltway. Steward tank from the south. Machine gun some of the paratroops there in their tracks, and the Pack 40 shoots. Finally hitting the Steward light tank, piercing its frontal armour with a sharp hit there. Shooting about there. Ooh, could maybe get the racings there, and okay, didn't get it. Otherwise, he could have, you know, stolen VonAsten's M20 utility car. Close one there, but not quite. Still got, and in fact, he ended up losing the 2-2-2. That's going to be quite uncomfortable there. No take from Clausewitz. Panzer Grenadiers still would be strongly recommended for him. They are really good infantry. Again, it's just some players tend to overlook them. Steward being fixed up here by VonAsten's vehicle crews there. Hard at work, fixing it up. And we got into tank guns being airdropped in here for VonAsten. And again, use of the doctrine's flexibility allowed to respond to a lot of things without necessarily having to tech for them. We'll have to see though what VonClausewitz ends up with. I mean, at the moment, yeah, we got double Pack 40s. And again, that lack, I mean, just going to try and go for the Tiger stall, realizing his early game and sort of mid game was not the most highly efficient. He sort of has to decide he's going to take the less than flashy route and just stall for a Tiger tank. We'll of course have to see how that works out. Though he really benefit from some Panzer Grenadiers. Again, they work really well as an infantry if you know how to handle them. West side there, we got fighting for the victory point here. Only know from Clausewitz starts a victory point leader from VonAsten, and that's probably his biggest lead he's got at the moment. Second Pack 40 there around to the front line. Or the main line of resistance. 50 caliber hanging back here, M6 anti-tank mine still laying about. Another hit on the Steward light tank there from the Pack 40. Fun fact about the Steward is actually incredibly cramped inside that tank, whereas most American tanks were known for being, you know, rather favourable towards the crews. The Stuart light tank actually was really cramped. There's a lot of mechanics inside, meaning it was not a very comfortable experience to be a Stuart light tank crew. Little fun fact there. Troops on the fire here from the Indy 4 and the Grenadiers, trying to take them up but not quite succeeding. Back here, nothing further going on. We'll probably be seeing a Sherman or some Scots here from VonAsten versus VonClausewitz. We could go for the Jackson, though. Obviously, that would be a rather preemptive move. VonClausewitz there's closing in on the resources needed for the Tiger tank, but obviously command point wise, on the other hand, is not quite there. Paratroopers moving about, ready to saw apart some cracks in the centre base and ground the picture point here in the west. 20 coming to flank there, nice use of light vehicles by VonAsten. Not far off there from a Sherman tank. Paratroopers under fire from the Grenadiers, which you finally upgraded with some light machine guns, increasing the lethality against VonAsten. So paratroopers there beginning to suffer up. We got veteran feed there right hitting the field point. Nice work. Double pack forges up there, small pack front there from VonClausewitz. The pack front, by the way, was a German tactic, but basically all anti-tank guns in the group be subordinate to one commander who would designate targets before they fired, so that will ensure maximum lethality and decreased incoming return fire. As an even more fun fact, the Russians would copy it, forcing the Germans to come up with a counter tactic to it. That was known as the Panzerkeil. Moving out west to see the Lieutenant and the M20. VonClausewitz trying to catch the Stuart with the Pack 40s. Didn't quite work out. This Stuart is out again, though it is heavily dinged up. Cut-off point lost again. Note the way VonAsten attacks here and there. He's constantly shifting the weight of his attack, so he's never quite attacked from the same angle. That makes it much harder for VonClausewitz to establish a sensible defensive front. In this case, the sensible response would be to sort of establish a series of straight outposts with a few units here and there at crucial points, and then establishing a main reserve unit that can then react, or tactical reserve, to the wherever the thing's actually happening there. So that way, instead of just positioning everything here and then he pushes there and then it takes 8 to get there, you can sort of just spot things ahead of time and then try and set up a defense ahead of time. But again, that requires a bit more management. It's obviously not for anything, but I would for everyone. But I'd certainly recommend that in response to these things. Your opponent knows what he's doing. The tactical reserve tactic is essentially one of your best bets. MD42 on the way here, number 2 from VonClausewitz. Not a bad idea, though again, he is trying to stall here for the Tiger tank, so it's still risky. Sherman tank out for VonAsten, 50 caliber being added. Mounted on top. I mean, certainly another MD42, and he probably should have gone for that one sooner, to be honest. It's going to be helpful. There's all of VonAsten's infantry in a defensive man. And again, we're using the Grizzly also there. Stirling eastwards here, veteran 2. And essentially 10 moving up here, noting no smoke screens though from VonAsten, but the mentally side is still from VonClausewitz. And they're going to try to straight into the pack front. Pop smoke. Oh, and we got smoke as well from the Sherman here. Really nice thick smoke screen there. Completely ruining VonClausewitz pack front. Allowing him to actually rush in. And once in the actor takes advantage of the chaos caused by the smoke screen to push ahead with the tanks, but due to lack of infantry, he has to pull back the armor since he does risk getting immobilized. And then taking out with the Pack 40 still. I like the idea there. I like the idea. Just a bit of better infantry coordination. That would probably work out a lot better for VonAsten. And possibly could even be GG for VonClausewitz right then and there. But instead, VonClausewitz is bought a brief respite. And he could very well see his Tiger stall plan working out. Though at this rate, he might honestly be better off just going straight for a Panther or something like that. But there you go. Grenadiers wiped out. Sherman almost taken out here by the Pack front. Still moving back on the right flank. Paratroopers moving in there, gunning down any crouch that sees standing in the way. Light machine gun drop there, seeing that VonClausewitz lost unit. He should probably replace those infantry units quickly. He could also consider an orbital blitz for more resources. I mean, more munitions for air support and other things would not be a bad idea at all for him. Stood down. VonAsten there pushes luck a bit too far, but at least the pack front was able to take it down. More worryingly for VonAsten, veteran 2 Pack 40s. I mean, as the tank guns get better, they just overall, become meaner since they gain notably increases the rate of fire and usually also penetration of actually 3, meaning they can take on most tanks very well. It can in fact be a massive threat then. I mean, a pair of veteran 3 anti-tank guns can absolutely wreck a medium before it has a chance to get out of there if you're not careful. Notably, so can the M1 anti-tank, the pair of them, even without veterancy, because it just has a higher rate of fire naturally. Troops are healing and forcing. MG42 is the 50 cover down the west. Grenadiers in the fire. Got the M20 in the east, fuel pump being cut off again. VonClausewitz still struggling, still needs more infantry. I mean, his Tiger tank is not far off, and he could probably get away with taking up afterwards. In fact, he could probably get away with taking now, getting the extra command points he need, and then getting the Tiger out faster by actually tacking. So, I mean, just press the button, VonClausewitz. Just press the button. Tank types every time make it easy for VonAsten to defend the fuel point there. Big 2 points wise. Clausewitz still has to lead VonAsten, and the 6th Armoured Pioneers almost taken up with the paratroopers when they're still halted by the MG42. Fight for the Western victory point with the 5th Cavalry Rifle moving up here. VonAsten might want to consider some deeper flanks, but as I'd say he's doing a pretty good job here versus VonClausewitz. Again, remaining rather fleet-footed and not the sort of type just get bogged down in pointless meat grinding versus the opponent. VonClausewitz getting really lots of resources, but he might be stuck with a small case of Fuhrer syndrome. He's just obsessing about the Tiger tank. There you go, more infantry. Still no Panzer Grenadiers. Still none. I'm a bit disappointed in that personally. MG42 setting up. Strafing around there ready as well to support an assault or defense depending on how VonClausewitz wants to swing it. VonAsten is suffering some losses, actually bleeding up manpower because going for tanks by now, and there you go, Tiger tank finally available here, and he's still got plenty of resources. He again probably couldn't get faster if he just escalated to battle phase 2, which does give you actually some experience and less command point stuff. So now that would have been an idea there, but that's that. Oh wait, Tiger tank mobilized, pin lock machine being added there. Paratroopers pinned down in the east, or at least soon to be pinned down, Pioneers to the centre. And white flame for a drop, bit of a pointless loss there from Clausewitz. He should definitely though be taking up now, since just having the tag on his own versus VonAsten I think is a bit silly and ill-advised overall. Bit of mortaring around the centre here, coming east in the west versus Rifleman. Tiger taking into the sustain in the centre though. VonAsten launching the sword. He's going straight for the flamethrower here, stealing it under from Clausewitz's nose. How shameful for VonClausewitz. Up north here, right by the Tiger tank. Dispatched with haste. Like the thugs they are. And there we go. VonClausewitz finally sees the light and goes for a Panzer Grenadier squad. Big push into the east though. VonAsten trying to draw away attention I think from his own territories, but launching an assault into VonClausewitz there. Sadly they'll get bogged down right from the machine. We've got a rifle able to take advantage of things. No grenade upgrades to VonAsten or anything else. It could always, missed opportunity I think to just clear up the machine gun quickly with a grenade and nabbing it. Tiger tank responding. VonAsten there needs to go for Jackson I think to have his best chance versus the Tiger tank. But so far no sign of that either. There we go. M36 Jackson away there for VonAsten. For freedom. 5th Cavalry coming at the western point here. Sherman Riesen's falling back here. Tiger tank moving about for I think some better shooting angles there on the Rifleman. He's probably wants to use the houses as well to cover up against anything around here. So he can sort of quickly just dodge back between the building. For cover, not a bad idea at all. There we go, Panzer Grenadiers swinging forwards, backed up by Grenadiers. Tiger tank I think should follow up. I mean the Tiger tank's not really sustained any serious damage, so I think it's a bit too quick to just fall back now, and particularly when he's rushing his Panzer Grenadiers far ahead. So I think that could have been executed slightly better there by VonClausewitz. Finding around the centre. No sign of tech there by VonClausewitz. Pack 4 lands a nice hit there on the Sherman. Hit there from the M1 on the Tiger tank again. Push across the road here, going to do something that they can. We got more Grenadiers, we got light machine guns. We got air support here to try and break up VonAsten assault here. The Luftwaffe strikes. Eventually. There you go. Quickly pinning down most of the infantry. Rifling off to try and take further advantage of that. Didn't quite work out, but still. dip, break off VonAsten's infantry, sort buying VonClausewitz more time to stabilise, and maybe go on assault versus VonAsten. Target tank probably could do with some repairs by now, and VonClausewitz could still do with some takeout. I mean, so a few Panther force like that backing up the target tank would be of great help. I suppose he could try and go for tier 4 and then backing up with Panthers and Sturmpanzers, which wouldn't really be a bad choice either. He just needs to take up and go for any additional tanks besides the target tank, and VonClausewitz will, I think, done reasonably good. Oh, got the Sherman there. A bit of a blow there to VonAsten. P-47s are called in here to deal with the target tank to drive off the Kraut heavy tank. Rockets flying through there, they're impacting upon Germany. If you got the Jackson pursuing here, pack front there, opening up though on the Jackson, taking it down to roughly half health. Could risk losing the Jackson, which would be quite a blow to VonAsten if he's not careful. And of course, just more free experience for the Pack 40s. Tiger tank almost taken out there with the P-47s, but does survive. Trying to catch the Jackson of the Pack 40s, but too slow by VonClausewitz. I'm trending by this ace level with 19 kills. Really impressive work there by VonAsten. Tiger tank's going to eat the Pioneers, and he probably needs more Pioneers, and he still needs to take up. Looks like the Ultras are to get a flank here on the 50 Cup and right from the west. Very nice. Sherman tank on fire there. Troop ceiling reinforcing. Both Pack 40s are slowly approaching the ace level. Target tank going to get repairs again. He's going to need more Pioneers because one Pioneer squad trying to repair target tank is going to be woefully slow. I mean, the one way he could have done a bit faster than one is he had gone for German infantry and upgrading them with some squad leaders. That would have made it a bit faster, but even then, it would have been slower than just having 2 Pioneer squads working on it. So at least he's doing that right, but he still needs to take up, and he still needs to bring up additional armor to back up his target tank in the long run. Final round center, we get a big push there by VonAsten, but it is quickly thwarted by intense machine gun fire here from VonClausewitz central defenses. Panther is also ready to act as either a flank guard or just an additional reserve there in case you need to push through. Jackson is being fixed up beneath a small tree, enjoying the shade. Back here, lots of reinforcement. Mortar for VonAsten is a bit closer to the front line this time around, and Grenadiers are being shredded by the 5th caliber. I'm not entirely sure what VonClausewitz had hoped to achieve with that, but it's clear he just only threw away his men, unfortunately. Pioneer's upgraded, moving towards fixing up the target tank, which is almost good to go. Takeout would still be great. I mean, he's almost got 300 fuel. VonAsten following up with Scott tank destroyers helped deal with the support guns and infantry, leaving the tank destruction business to the anti-tank gun and the Jackson tank destroyer. Also worth noting, VonClausewitz hasn't been particularly active on the flanks, and particularly he's done nothing to harass VonAsten's fuel, whereas VonAsten has been much more consistent on that, so that's definitely, I think, a small plus there for VonAsten. The Eastern tank in there that makes a bit of a grievous error, in fact. Almost gets taken up with the Grenadiers and almost loses the Jackson as well, but that was definitely not wisely done by VonAsten. Should have sent infantry in first, instead of more or less committing all of his anti-tank on the right flank with the escort. I mean, that could have been, well, probably not GG, but have been a really bad moment if he lost both of those right then and there to VonClausewitz, since that meant he'd had nothing to stop the Tiger tank. That's usually not the sort of situation you want to find yourself in, like, you know, unable to stop a heavy German tank. That sort of rates up there with finding out that Hannibal Barker's crossed over the Alps with elephants. It's like, oh no, that's bad. Anyways, target tank then getting about. Target tank moving ahead, engaging his support arms head on, and to tank runs the basically elsewhere, partly keep neat repairs. So right now the Tiger tank's got reasonable free range. M1 anti-tank and shoots bounces off the Tiger's 100mm thick armor. Machine gun almost taken out. 5th Cavalry opening up on the Pioneers, preventing a move from that victory point still. VonClausewitz has to lead over VonAsten. He is still not taking out. I mean, he's got full pop cap at the moment. He still wouldn't hurt, you know, being ready to be able to call in anything to assist the Tiger tank with. I mean, he could probably go for a Stug though, and I mean, a Stug and a Tiger tank is a, you know, reasonably good combo. Another option from Clausewitz considered besides, that would be laying down bunkers. I mean, he's got plenty of manpower, he's got munitions. So, I mean, if you find yourself with a lot of, little pop cap, you could always just, expend the resource into something else. Got the Jackson good to go. Scott is smoking it. I'm guessing that was a misclick there for VonAsten. And finally here for VonClausewitz, half an hour into the game, we get the tech. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Looks like a mine was set off there by the Tiger tank, not too shabby. Panther's there sort of supporting. Being supported. Gonna push westwards there. Panthers are routed by the Jackson and the 50 caliber in the east, standing about here. Big push into the machine guns here by VonAsten. No sign of smoke from the Scots or the mortar. That was perhaps not the most well considered thought there by him. You've got air support in here by VonClausewitz. I would argue that's perhaps a bit overkill versus VonAsten assault when they all got the machine gun and the Tiger tank there. When he does break up additional units nearby, so he could try and make use of this tech to break VonAsten, but so far seems like VonClausewitz is kind of at use, but it's not working out too well. They failed to get rid of the machine gun fast enough. Tiger tank there sniping away, 11 kills. Getting planked out here by the anti-tank and then possibly other units. Jackson lands a thunderous thud on the Tiger tank's armor, and we got the aircraft shot down there, depriving VonClausewitz of his Luftwaffe air support for the time being. There's an advancing. Lots of rifle grenades here, trying to take out the mortar and other things here. Doesn't quite fully work out there for VonClausewitz. VonAsten remains a furious defender. He's going for another Scot. So he's committing to a lot of artillery here versus VonClausewitz. As for VonClausewitz, no additional take up, no support core. I mean, again, he's at close to full pot cap, but at least he can sort of prepare himself for it. No Tiger tank backing this up, being repaired by the Pioneers. Infantry is standing out in the open. Not really the best assault labor from VonClausewitz, to be honest. Not the best. Still, VonClausewitz enjoying lead over VonAsten. He's enjoying some control. So obviously could be a lot worse here for VonClausewitz. Noting that both players are rather close to the limits in terms of population. There you go. Another Scot out, and there you go. VonAsten is now at full pop cap. He's at 100 out of 100. So what will VonClausewitz do? He is going for tier 4. The heavy Panzer Corps is what he dreams about. Ace machine gun is stopping the assault from the VonAsten across the road. The Scot, they're coming from the flanks of the assault. Is very much obstructing VonClausewitz's defense. Pack front opening up here, but rather exposed. Also very importantly, very bunched up. Tiger tank going for the exposed Scot. That's actually a good idea there, but VonClausewitz could punish here VonAsten for extending. Then again, depending how he does, there's a theoretical option that VonAsten could try and rush the Tiger, take it out, but so far none of that is happening. Smokescreen being laid down there. VonAsten is basically hoping he can somehow pull a fast one on the Tiger tank here. I imagine what he's going to try and do is the Tiger tank goes through the smoke. Oh, actually, isn't. Otherwise, I'd say he's trying to bait him through the smoke, and then once the Tiger entered the smoke, instead of good of it, he'd then rush past the Tiger through the smoke instead. He's basically hoping the Tiger tank doesn't see where the Scot is going, and then he hides the Scot. Oh, close. It's almost there. Close, but sadly VonClausewitz didn't quite buy into that one. I think the better bet we're going to try to, hide in the smoke, make his opponent think he rushed through it, and then sit past it. In the end, the Scot went down there. Bit of a shame there for VonAsten and the 6th Armored Division. Tier 4 ready there for VonClausewitz. He can build the heavy Panzer Corps any moment he wants to. Panzer's moving on there on their own with little support. right into the main axis here for VonAsten's freshest assault. And unsurprisingly, the Panzer Grenadiers are getting cut down slowly since they do not have the numbers to respond to this. Bomb grenade on the anti-tank gun, he sees his priority here. Almost got it, but he needs to retreat those Panzer Grenadiers. VonClausewitz, Scheiße, Rückzug! Tiger tank at half H52, that's pretty good there from VonClausewitz. Got another wipe there from VonAsten. Mortar crew was finally silenced. Finally ended. But of course, he can quickly recruit, but it won't be the ace level mortar crew anymore. Well, it is. Whereas VonClausewitz still has eventually few there. We got the heavy Panther off from VonClausewitz. He should have roughly numbered the population and begin going for something a bit meaner. Sturmpanzer or Panther could be good as the infantry and such. Panther would be great as the armoured vehicles. So we'll have to see what he decides is the more important element here. But I'm guessing a Sturmpanzer. They could also go for the Panzerwerfer. Grabbing the eastern victory point, yes. VonAsten is trying to slow down the bleed here from VonClausewitz. VonClausewitz is slowly approaching having twice as many victory points here than VonAsten. In the east, fighting intensifies. As VonAsten is fighting for the victory point, we got the Tiger tank, they're trying covering fire. We got the Jacks of the Marine to back up the advancing riflemen. Unit wiped out. We not don't actually have grenades that VonAsten actually kind of thought so either way. Getting wiped then for VonClausewitz is great. Rifle being slowly cut to ribbons here by mortar fire and Tiger fire. Casualties slowly piling up here, paired with the next victory of the Tiger's Wrath. Clausewitz in D2. Jackson moving in there, veterans who won. So we'll have to see what VonClausewitz goes for. He's a bit short on manpower, but he could again theoretically go for some sort of armoured vehicle soon. Or the rocket artillery. Scott Hemingway there, Panzer Grenadiers being suppressed by the 5th Cavalry. We got veteran field ace level. In the east, Grenadiers Restorations, Pioneers backing up here. Also got the M20 back up, which is still alive. 29 kills. Honestly, though, at this stage, I kind of figure VonAsten might want to switch out the crew here with the Jackson cruiser. Could probably get that closer to veteran fleet fast, and that way get a better tank destroyer versus the Tiger tank. But still, 29 kills in M20 is really good work. Tiger tank once more subjected to the wrath of the American Air Force. Fragmentation bombing running against VonAsten. Oh, rubbish though. Easily dodged with only poor Jack there getting blown apart by the sheer number of small bombs. In east, machine gun being held up with the machine gun in the centre, things collapsing, the mortars about to get annihilated. Things seem to be falling a bit apart from Clausewitz. Lost his Panzer Grenadiers, he's losing infantry fast and support weapons. Drastic measures need to be taken to stop this unfolding disaster from Clausewitz. Tiger tank here, Victory 2, but is in need of repairs. And for VonClausewitz is at this stage in need of everything. More infantry, more pioneers, more tanks. Moving up the centre. Need to fix up that Tiger. 5 and the 5th gun mortar sitting up. We got machine gun being taken directly here from the Scott. 8 kills, halfway to Victory 2. Turning eastwards, rushing forwards, cutting off from Clausewitz fuel point once more. Doesn't matter too much for either place since they got lots of fuel, so at this stage it doesn't make a huge difference really.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Rifleman routing Grenadiers in the west, Tiger tank almost being fixed up. Panzerwerfer from Clausewitz, it could work out, but I think a Sturmpanzer at this stage would be better. Plus he still needs more infantry. And a tank on the way here for VonAsten to bring up more anti-tank weapons. It's nothing no armor or anything like that, but anti-tank and something else can work. And again, thanks to costing munitions now are cheaper. So it does make more sense in the sort of economical sense of VonAsten.
Send your orders.
Since at this stage he probably prefers spending 60 munitions just to get a much cheaper anti-tank gun out, for example, in terms of manpower. fighting for the eastern fuel point here, victory points wise. VonAsten slowly getting VonClausewitz down to his level. And there we go, Panzerwerfer out for VonClausewitz, and the second Panzer Division Pack 4 turning about note ace level there. He's lost the other end of tank on the head to VonAsten at some point. Tiger tank sending out. Straight into the 50 caliber there. We got machine guns moving on the machines as well, right in the 50 caliber. We got the Tiger tank moving. We got the Panzer ready to sort of shatter anything and catch it. We shall have to see what it decides to hit at, and if it can hit at it. Panzer barrage off. Right into VonAsten's center here. Penning down a mortar crew and forcing retreat there on that one, but beyond that, nothing else really happened there. Not the most impressive barrage by VonClausewitz, truth be told, didn't even get a single kill with it. But he's got the eastern victory point back, but VonAsten still has a much more sizable force right now than VonClausewitz, who is striking a bit more now, as VonAsten is overall getting bolder and more aggressive. They're not reckless with his larger force. Tiger tank routing the lieutenant in the west there, losing ground or losing the fight there to VonAsten. It's the Pioneers simply, I think, can't win that one on their own. Mortar continues to hammer away there. Veterans won one kill. Tiger tank heading back for repairs. Panzerwerfer almost got to go again. Will he go for a Panther now? Will he go for Sturmpanzer? What is VonClausewitz' plan here versus VonAsten? He does go for the Sturmpanzer here. Full anti-tank team there. Impact upon the Tiger tank, taking him down to half health in a matter of seconds. Not good there for VonClausewitz. Good though for VonAsten. Bit more action in the west again. Certainly feels like one of VonClausewitz' major issues just not been very active in terms of harassing VonAsten. Again, VonAsten was really good at that. And certainly was just good at taking advantage of any edge he actually got here to sort of just further push it down. This VonClausewitz, whenever given an opportunity, seems to not quite push it. We got another fragmentation bomb ready here. I mean, theoretically, it's sort of triangulating around this axis, at which point it could maybe catch the unit inside the house and the mortar behind it. Maybe. But obviously, no guarantees whatsoever. Pack 4 thing. There we go. We got the fragmentation bombing run exactly around, well, close around there. Panther will be down as well. Lieutenant, he could be caught in it, and instead he just takes out the house. Doesn't even kill anything though. That's a bit of a blunder. Panzerwerfer managed to get 3 kills this time around, but seemingly not really collapsing any of VonAsten's front lines either. VonClausewitz' actions are struggling to make any impact here on VonAsten and the 6th Armored. 32 kills on that M20. That one is just on fire in the less than literal sense. "33 kills. Absolutely impressive work there. Ace Pack there spotting the Scott and taking out. We got the Sturmpanzer moving up, and there you go. Direct hit killing a few units. Oh, actually just down units, seems. Someone else got the kill, I guess. Not sure that won't last long. Jackson shoots though and pierces the Sturmpanzer's thick frontal armor, which was 100mm thick and mildly sloped. Not wildly, but you know, still reasonably some. Rather than taking hit from the Sturmpanzer and the Tiger tank, seeing the numbers quickly dwindle alongside their health. Sturmpanzer sending out, Tiger tank sending out. Panzerwerfer good to go. He needs to back it up with infantry, and once more, of course, VonClausewitz is down to just 2 infantry squads. Bases they're almost taken out by the Sturmpanzer, but still not quite. VonClausewitz keeps pushing up the centre when he probably should be looking for other avenues to attack VonAsten through. Overall meaning it becomes easier for VonAsten to defend and harder for VonClausewitz to attack. He insists on just attacking down the same route. Tiger tank moving up here on the west side. 23 kills. Struggling a bit further to make an impact here against VonAsten. Big 2 points are now all under control here of the iron grip of VonAsten. Panzerwerfer unleashing hell again, or at least attempting to, and That Panzerwerfer really is not doing a lot of good for them. I do think he should have gone for Sturmpanzer first and then backed up with the Panther rather than going for the Panzerwerfer, because VonClausewitz is just going nowhere with it fast. And he's being obliterated here by all the infantry, of course, all the artillery here that VonAsten has mustered.
Our supply line is cut. Germans are making a push.
119 versus 176. Target tank, they're almost good to go again. Sturmpanzer in down repairs, but VonClausewitz is short in it. Pioneer still. I mean, he's just short on most things, in a sense. Note by both MG42s are the ace level there. Go on straight to the M20 here, taking immediate casualties. Note we got 350 calibers out there for VonAsten. That's a lot of them. And we get a wipe there on the machine gun wiping it out there. Noting that they, by the way, have all been air called in. Very nice work there. Certainly VonAsten understands the power of, you know, cheap support weapons. Target tank moving straight here for the M20, routing it. Sadly they're not while doing any damage to it. 97 points left here versus the 176. VonClausewitz still has a sizable force, but it's just the way he's wielding it. It is just not making much of an impact or even an impression there upon VonAsten. Canadians moving in.
We're losing a capture point. They have only 75 points remaining.
75 points left. The situation for VonClausewitz and the 2nd Panzer Division is desperate. Sturmpanzer finally receiving the repairs. Is he planning a Panther now, or what is VonClausewitz thinking with this? That's the major question here. Scott with 14 kills. MG42 they're hanging back, target tank advancing. Shot fired by the Jackson, bounced off, target tank response, he gets a nice hit through the Jackson frontal armor. Lieutenant moving ahead, backed up by infantry and of course other anti-tank weapons there. Got the anti-tank and a small victory. Sturmpanzer's not joining in the assault, the Panzerwerfer is. And actually getting some damage and some kills in for once. Even wipes the mortar crew, very good. We got P-47 to break up the armored element of VonClausewitz here. Forced him to attack his target tank, leaving the rest of the units exposed to further attacks here by VonAsten. Nice work there. So that's the target tank. It's really down. There you go. We got the Panther for VonClausewitz at the 46-minute mark. Will that be enough? Well, I don't think so. Fifth company here, the Gandhis in the east. Machine gun wiped. VonClausewitz's infantry complement is whittled down and is now just down to the infantry with no any support weapons. He's got a mix of armor, but the question is, even though it deals a lot of damage to VonAsten's units and say clears out everything, does he actually have enough to in the meanwhile seize all of the victory points and prevent himself from dying from that? Jackson here halfway to veteranly fleet. Fifth coming eastwards. Panther almost down there for VonClausewitz. 33 points left. 32, but there you go. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Gefechtsbereit.
A capture point is being overrun.
Sturmpanzer moving in.
They only have 25 points remaining. Our supply line just
Somebody's being attacked. Blasting apart the 5th cover crew here quite aggressively. Directly from the Jackson on the Sturmpanzer. Veteran 2 gained. Very nice. Panther moving up here. Target tank moving in. Could consider a bit of blitzkrieg as well to get a bit more action in there. Anti-tank is opening up. And there goes Sturmpanzer almost taken out already. Panther flanking in behind. Trying right in front of the anti-tank gun. Sturmpanzer down. Jackson gains the ace level. Panther exposing here to the anti-tank gun. He's down to 7 points here. 5 points. Got the ace tank destroyer, but VonAsten still in command of the rest of the field here. 3 points left. 2 points left. Oh, And there you go, managed to stall here, but there you go. Not for long, and with that, it is GG, game over. A win for VonAsten over VonClausewitz. A brutal battle here of wits and more, but in the end, VonAsten was just that much a bit sharper here, making good use of his doctrine. In fact, he used almost everything except the Pathfinders, actually. Good flankings, good attack, and overall good way of keeping his opponent less sure of how to defend. Compared to VonClausewitz was a bit clumsy at times. His strategy was certainly also struggling to keep pace here, and he also struggled to actually harass his opponent's fuel point, ensuring that VonAsten in most cases had the edge. So really well played there, VonAsten. A good display of American gameplay here on Langraskaya. So I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell your friends, tell your family, but don't tell your enemies. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers, thank you for watching. If you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Links in the video description. Every little bit helps me keep making videos day after day. So thank you all. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.